Just imagine, you're neither here nor there, caught in a space where transformation begins. One foot in a familiar world, and other in the unknown. This is the essence of liminality, a concept that speaks to the moments of transition in our lives. Today I invite you to explore this fascinating in-between space where we discover not just who we are, but who we might become. I'm Tyler Pentney, and I will be discussing the aspects of liminality and how it affects your self-discovery to things of finding harsh things to our transitional periods like losing a loved one, and how liminality also affects personal growth, such as transitional spaces occur in growth processes like puberty, and how we can learn from puberty and maybe those transitions in our lives and how we can grow from them, but also in how liminality affects our relationships. Because maybe when we're able to experience liminality, we're able to reflect the love we received and how to use that love through liminality to lift ourselves and have a more established connections with our loved ones, our friends, our families, the world around us, and entirely. So first, I will begin discussing on how liminality affects our self-discovery and our own well-being. We can discover harsh things like through liminality through transitional periods like losing a loved one. Liminal spaces are defined as an inner and outer state where one can begin to think and change our ways of thinking. We can enter these liminal spaces in times of transition or when our former way is being challenged, such as being sick, relocating to a new home, or giving birth to a child. Liminal spaces can be seen in art and literature. For example, examine this photo of a movie theater hallway. While examining this photo, you may feel some sort of discomfort or eeriness. We may feel this way as this image can simulate liminality. This means this image represents a state of in-betweenness, where a space is nearly fully one thing nor another, creating a sense of uncertainty, unease, and disorientation, which can be unsettling in itself if this place may seem familiar. Essentially, this uncanny feeling can make us feel familiar, yet not familiar, meaning that this is some type of foreign thing. This is what described as a liminal space. We can perform self-discovery in how we feel and how we react when we set ourselves in this uncomfortable place. Like of this photo of a school building can make us feel nostalgia and learn how we feel about the process of growing up that may be familiar for others and unfamiliar for some. Jacqueline Pengus, the author of Women's Experiences Negotiating Motherhood and Maternity Care in a New Country, describes liminality as a profound paradox offering both negative and positive aspects, including loss, detachment, and opportunity for positive change and transformation. This means, through positive and negative aspects in our lives, we can look for opportunity for change and examine ourselves through self-discovery. Heather Plett, who authored the book titled Rethinking Liminality, describes self-discovery through liminality as the wobbliness is temporary, and there would be something stable, familiar, and predictable on the other side. We are better off finding stability within ourselves so that the instability of liminality does not cause as much disruptions as we want. What Heather is saying is that the feeling of discomfort is not forever lasting, and we can find things through ourselves through stability so that the liminal feeling is not wasted on negative emotions. Liminality can affect personal growth as transitional spaces occur during the growth processes like puberty and how we can learn how we should and not be. Liminal spaces are places to reflect and move forward. Adolescence can be defined as a liminal space since it is a transition between a child and a young adult. However, this transition means you're no longer a child, but you're neither a full-fledged adult either who has the same responsibilities as the one before or the one after. Therese Hall, who is a school teacher and author of What is Liminality, used the example of metamorphism. She explains that this in-between transition can be uncomfortable, but is essential as it creates transformation. This means that in the change from a caterpillar to a butterfly, you're nothing more than a yellow, gooey, sticky mess. Although this transformation can be uncomfortable, it is essential if you want to be a beautiful butterfly. This essentially means that liminality can examine personal growth, that we have to go through uncomfortable times to learn from them and become who we want to be and who we should be in our society today. Relationships are liminal, as we're able to reflect the love we received and how to lift ourselves. We as human beings are social beings, and we often feel depressed or saddened when we lose friendships. However, through liminality, friendships aren't always lost, only in transition. We reflect on what we need and how we want people to treat us in our relationships. That liminal feeling can make us feel uncomfortable, but instead of being sad for ourselves, we can become better understanding of what we need in relationships. Liminality becomes about shaping. Being around that emptiness and embracing the unrevealed can make us a better person. Liminal is only in transition. And for example, Brittany Shafi wrote in How to Cope with Liminal Space in Our Lives, had difficulties in deciding whether she should keep her child with her fiance and deciding on abortion. However, this transition of in between a difficult and uncomfortable decision in a relationship is known as liminality. This can teach us on how we need to tell our partners and how the space feels so we can learn together on our feelings to become a better union of a relationship. Liminality is the quality of being in between two places or stages, on the verge of transitioning to something new. Liminality affects self discovery through learning on how our new ways of thinking in our inner and outer states, and liminality affects personal growth and is a place to reflect and move forward. To conclude, liminality affects relationships by shaping ourselves around that emptiness and embracing that unrevealed that we may experience through peace of losing friendships. I hope you learned a little bit of what liminality truly is and how you can search for your transitional space.